Hi everyone, this is Ben Dunnett from www.musictheoryacademy.com. In this session we're going to have a look at primary chords. We're going to ask the question, what are primary chords? How do we work out primary chords? We're going to look at all the different primary chords in major and minor keys. And then we're going to ask, how do we compose our own pieces of music using primary chords? So firstly, what are primary chords? Well, primary chords are the most commonly used chords in any key. And they're based on the first, the fourth, and the fifth of the scale. Now, we use Roman numerals in music just because that's how the tradition has developed. So, let's have a look at an example. If we're going to work out the primary chords in C major. Okay, here's our first of the scale, C. Count up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's F, so F is our fourth chord. And count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's G. So the primary chords in C major, chords 1, 4, and 5, are C, F, and G. Simple as that. Let's have a look at another example. Let's imagine we want to work out the primary chords in G major. We do exactly the same. G major becomes chord 1. Count up 4, you get to C. Count up 5, you get to D. So the primary chords in G major, chords 1, 4, and 5, are G, C, and D. Great. What about the difference between major and minor keys though? Does that make any difference to the sound or the numbers? Doesn't make any difference to the numbers. We're still using chords 1, 4, and 5, but it does make a difference to the sound. In a major key, the primary chords are all major triads. Whichever key you're working in, whichever major key, they're all going to be major triads. In the minor key, the first and the fourth chords are minor triads, whereas the fifth chord is a major triad. And that goes for whatever minor key you are working in. Okay, so your first and fourth chords are minor triads, but your fifth chord is going to be a major triad. So, how does this relate to us when we're trying to write music, we're trying to compose our own pieces? Well, primary chords are going to be one of the first things that you're going to be using when you're composing. And there's a few pointers that will just help you when you're composing. Always start and end with chord 1. So if I'm writing in C major, a good rule of thumb is to say I'm going to start with the C major chord and I'm going to end with a C major chord. If I'm writing in A minor, start with an A minor chord, start with an A minor chord and end with an A minor chord. It just brings a sense of balance to your piece and it works. Try and think in groups of 4. Okay, so you think, right, I'm going to use chord 1, chord 4, chord 5, back to chord 1, and then do another group. Again, that will just help you give a sense of balance to it and a sense of it working. So here I've used chord 1, then chord 4, then chord 1, then chord 5, and then I've gone 1, 4, 5, 1. See how my piece begins on chord 1, ends on chord 1. Okay, I've done a few things in between, used different chords, but I've thought, let's think in groups of 4. So if you just start with those 2 points, start and end with chord 1, and think in terms of groups of 4, that will go a long way to helping you compose with primary chords. So we've had a look at what primary chords are, chords 1, 4, and 5, how to work them out. We've looked at the primary chords in major and minor keys. Remember, in the major key, all of the primary chords are going to be major triads, and in the minor, the first and fourth are going to be minor, and the fifth is going to be major. And then when you're composing, start and end with chord 1, and try and think in terms of groups of 4. Quite often it's difficult to work out all the different primary chords in the keys, so I wanted to make things easy for you. Here I've got a couple of charts that give you all of the primary chords in all of the keys, both major and minor. If you go to www.musictheoryacademy.com, you'll be able to download these sheets and print them out and just have them there as a reference so you can have a go at composing and working out the different chords in all the keys. Go to www.musictheoryacademy.com to get more free music theory lessons and take your musicianship to the next level.